Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show that happens twice a week where two old guys, one rather young lady, and somebody who mail orders real sex dolls via the phone.
All the time.
Josh?
Still, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because we had that order confirmation. So, talk about old games. Because I wanted to make I was like, why did I do it with the real doll? Oh, okay. Because I remember watching a thing on BuzzFeed about Friends. Like, kids nowadays don't understand a lot of Friends references. One being when Ross orders something out of a Pottery Barn catalog using his telephone, which is just nothing that happens anymore.
Yeah, is that possible to do anymore?
I bet it is.
I think it is. I think most catalogs still print their phone number on there.
Yeah.
Once the baby boomers die off, then it won't be a thing anymore.
I remember whenever I was a kid, I remember my grandmother doing like mail-in orders where they had the order form in the JCPenney catalog and you'd fill it out,
tear it
check in there and mail it in. Yeah.
I remember seeing those when I was looking for Christmas presents and the giant
like
catalog.
the Sears catalog.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if like current day models from like the Sears catalog or the Avon catalog, like the underwear models.
Oh, they're dead.
Are they? Are they ever like glad? Like, man, I'm glad internet pornography is such an open thing now because I know 12-year-olds just aren't drinking it to me like they used to.
I mean, they still are, but just you're right, not in the numbers that they were before the internet.
I'm glad there's not millions of 12-year-olds drinking to me. Only like 50.
Yeah, 50,000.
Now, there's the like probably few like small group of people our age that didn't have a choice but to jerk it to those and develop the Sears catalog fetish. So they're still doing it.
I identify as Sears.
I only thought that because I was just using the bathroom a second ago because Nicole brought Meg an Avon catalog and I was flipping through. I got to the underwear section and I was like, man, I remember I used to sit in the bathroom and jerk it to this like all the time. All the time.
I think that
It was hard when the Sears catalog was really thick, so I was trying to hold like one heavy catalog open, like and maneuver it while trying to jerk it.
You hold it with your feet. You like hold it up. You balance it up against the wall just a little bit. Like leave it open. Yeah, I had it all.
You have one of your friends sit in front of you and hold it behind their head.
you know your mom's going to look at it later, so you have to be really careful.
Joshua, I know what that is. Meanwhile, I'm just like coming in off the pages of your Sears catalog. Well, this week, it's Original Flavor Wednesday, so we're continuing down our list of Dorkly's top 25 N64 games.
Yep, we're 24.
At 24, which is the first of, I believe, like 21 appearances by Nicole for the N64 list.
Is that right? Is that correct?
I don't know. I'm kind of excited.
It's something like that. It's most of them.
Okay, I'm on board.
She's
Sounds good.
She's our new John Turley for Wednesdays.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, this week we are talking about Bomberman 64. But first, I'm your bearded host, Tyler, and we had a text last week asking for more Gatsby stories.
Yes.
So I have one.
Oh, good.
And I called and I talked to Brainy Gatsby because I wanted to make sure, like, fill me in on the gaps in this story that I have, and is it okay that I tell it?
Oh, good.
And
I was about to say, I hope you asked for permission because that means it's a racy story.
Well, she told me yes, and then 5 minutes later she told me no. And I said, please, and she said, okay, I guess.
You were like, too late, we already recorded.
Well, in high school, I think it was probably like our senior year, she had broken up with her terrible boyfriend.
Right.
And it was around Halloween. So Good Time Gatsby was like, all right, we're going to go out and get you drunk.
Okay.
But first, let's go buy costumes. So they went for their Halloween party.
So they could wear it when they go to buy alcohol? They're like, no one will expect we're underage if we put this sheet over us.
I heard there's this one gas station attendant who'll sell. he'll sell you malt liquor if you dress like his favorite cartoon character.
only if you show him what ghost boobs look like.
But they both with their sexy versions of their Halloween costumes. She was sexy Pocahontas.
Okay.
She doesn't remember what Good Time Gatsby was. So it tells you where the evening went if she can't remember a lot of the stuff that happened before the drinking started.
I'm going to guess, I don't know her, but I'm going to guess sexy Flounder.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That'd be pretty creative. Pretty hard to pull off. Yeah.
But if anyone could do it, it's someone named Good Time. So,
but they go, and actually, I should have prefaced this a little bit more. As of a month ago, I made a big thing of hooch that I kept in the fridge, and I would drink while we recorded.
baby.
Because I don't really like alcohol. Like, I prefer to not be able to taste my alcohol at all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because that's your normal human.
yeah. But she told me, she was like, okay, what I used to drink was hooch. She told me the recipe that she made. She's like, I haven't had it in years because of this, and this is when she tells me the story.
Okay.
So the hooch stories comes from her because she told me how to make it, and this Halloween night, that's when she drank a lot of hooch.
Halloween hooch.
Hooch.
Strongest.
Which was like fruit punch and apple juice and Everclear.
Okay. Candy corn.
And so they're at some party, and they have like the hooch set up in a large, like the orange Gatorade containers, like at soccer games and baseball games and stuff like that. And they're drinking it. As it depletes, they fill it back up with more Everclear.
Okay.
So as they drink, it only gets worse. So she tells me that she keeps drinking. She's still like getting over this breakup, and Good Time Gatsby's like, yeah, come on, drink up. And at one point, the next thing she remembers after she continues to drink is she's in the bathroom throwing up. And the conclusion I draw is this costume must have been like so constraining, or she didn't want to throw up on it. So she attempts to take it off, which only results in basically her ass is just hanging out and she's vomiting. And then she passes out on the floor, just in the top part of the sexy Pocahontas outfit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess somebody didn't know her and her ex had broken up.
Not to be too weird about it, but I think if half of it's off, I think at that point the sexy part of the costume is the bottom part.
So top is reasonable Pocahontas.
Right, exactly.
Down to the bottom, that's sexy
It's all
Pocahontas.
about adjusting the standards by which we judge.
And I guess someone didn't know that she and her ex-boyfriend had broken up. So whenever she passes out on the bathroom floor, they call him. So he comes and gets her, and she says the next morning she wakes up and she's in his bed with his mom like looming over him. And she's like, we haven't seen you in a while. And she like nods or whatever. Her mom leaves the room, and like she starts to smell something. So whenever she pulls back the blanket, she has thoroughly pissed her costume and pissed the bed from being so drunk that she described it as just like the worst walk of shame from the ex she didn't want to talk to, his parents she hasn't spoken to in forever. She's still dressed as sexy Pocahontas.
I like that part.
Reeking of urine, and she has to like walk down the street to her car and get in, and like she just wants to get rid of the costume, so it's still covered in piss. She just puts it back on the rack and returns it to the costume shop. They never said anything about it.
That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is it's a sad commentary on what the Europeans have done to the natives' land.
You gotta know that that costume store attendant has seen worse come back. So
Piss. Yeah. We can deal with that. We can deal with that. It's fine.
What's up, Internet? I'm Dave. I'm your bespectacled host. I just wanted to share. I was pretty proud because I'm not really good with directions, but the other day coming to Tyler's, there was an accident or something in front of, I guess, your old church that you used to go to as a child. So I decided to be adventurous, and I was like, you know what? I could turn around like everyone else is doing, or I can make a right here and go on an adventure and hope that I find
adventure on the
Tyler's
said
house.
road. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
I was like, I can go on an adventure. I'm not gonna use my GPS unless things get really grim. I'm just gonna try to intuit where I'm going. And I'm sure that I will get there. So I was driving down this road, and I was just trying to feel things out. I was like, okay, I feel like I need to take a left here. All right, I feel like I need to just keep going. I probably need to make another left. And at that point, I realized there are parts of Paducah that are scary as fuck. And I don't mean like sketchy, but I mean like land has just reclaimed civilization because it is bizarre. And but the best part, and why I bring it up, I wanted to tell a story about this man that I saw. I saw this man, and I'm sorry to say he was wearing glasses. He was probably in his, I'd say, mid-60s. He had a white T-shirt on. He had dark khaki shorts on and black socks. He didn't have any shoes on, and he was peeing on a bush that was beside the road, like right beside the road. There are no cars or anything. There's no one out. There's like a couple dogs, like just two dogs were walking down the street.
I like to think they were just barking at him, just nonstop, just barking.
Hey.
What's messed up is these two dogs weren't even walking together. They were going in opposite directions. Like they just had like a meet. Like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Even the streaker from Serial that found the dead body pees further off the road than that dude.
So I'm driving, and then I notice this guy like move his head because he's facing away from me, and it's like I understand. I mean, when I'm recording at the Annex, I definitely just walk right outside and pee. Mm-hmm. I don't do it right next to the road, but so I'm driving by. I see him kind of like get this, like he does this head motion, like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to do something. He just decides to walk into the bush. He just walked straight into the bush, like he just disappeared. The bush
was he magical? Did the bush was it disturbed at all? Did he just?
Oh, it was disturbed. There's nothing about this situation that wasn't disturbing.
You seen that episode of The Simpsons where Homer fades into the bushes, so he just thought, I can do this.
He walked right into it, and then like when he was in it, he kind of like circle strafed around the back. And as soon as he walked into the bush, I slowed down because I was like, what the fuck is going on? I slowed down and like I wanted to know what the fuck was going to happen. So I just stared at him. And then so he circle strafed around and then like our eyes met and I just waved at him. I just waved at him and just drove on. I found Tyler's place eventually. So that was good. Tyler, your street is not like that at all. But like I don't know if you drive down that way
and go left or right. Shit gets weird.
It gets really weird.
I mean, Nicole, were you with me? I tried running out there. I don't know if you were with me.
No, we did. We ran that way.
Oh man,
oh, y'all ran that way?
It's like there's an invisible barrier. We're like, all right, past this line, no dogs have to be on leashes.
It was
get a
scary.
big dog and just let it run loose. It's fine. Like every house we run past, a dog just runs to the edge of the road and just barks at us. And it's like, hey, they're coming your way. Another one comes out the house.
So, I mean, I don't know. It reminded me of, it was weird because my grandmother lived in Mississippi, a town called Soso. I think I may have mentioned it on the show before, but this town had like 300 people. Like it was the size of like normal graduating classes, like from high schools. And that's exactly what it reminded me of. It was like, it was I just time traveled back to 1985, where I'm going to my grandmother's in Mississippi, where it's just like, I remember being in her house and I watched Unsolved Mysteries. And they had, oh man, which never really scared me as a kid, but it did when I watched it at her farmhouse, where it was like early satellite. So it's always like, I remember my dad had to like configure it with like this gigantic
the weird
fucking,
satellites.
Oh god, and like you'd have to go outside. Like if it stopped working, you had to go outside and like rotate this like fucking 24-inch disc around.
No, I remember like my aunt and uncle had one. There was one in my backyard when I moved in. Just the giant dish that whenever the previous owner decided to come back and reclaim that when I wasn't home. So I just had like a 10-foot just iron pole just in my backyard where he took the satellite dish off and left.
It's like, my kids need a sled.
But I remember like the TV guide for that was like the phone book because there are like
all
these
the codes
weird
and shit.
codes
Yep.
and like you had the 3 numbers, so it's like GAX and then however many numbers, and each one had its own like 30 or 40 stations, and then you change it. Oh God, that was fucked up.
That's the most determined I've ever seen my father because my granddad would always, when my dad was working on it, my granddad would always be like, "The college boy can't get the satellite to work," and that was just like that's all my dad did for like the rest of the visit. Just like determined to get the satellite to work, which he didn't, but it's not his fault because it's like literally, it's like he would like walk a football field out, adjust the satellite, walk a football field back to the house, check to see if it's working. Nope.
Still staticky? All right.
Yep. Go back out.
Get on the CB radio and we'll tell each other. I remember I found one channel that was like someone like selling adult products. So lingerie and stuff like that. I remember I found it, like made sure my aunt and uncle weren't watching, and I wrote down all the codes for it and then changed it. So when they went to bed later, I brought that channel back up and watched it.
Nice. What's up, Josh? What's up, Nicole?
Not too much. I like to think that I actually saw that guy that you saw.
It was me in the future.
Yeah, he because right at the end of the road here, where TADPOG NX2 is, there is a gas station pizza place thing, and right beside it is like a section of woods, like a small, like narrow section of woods. Well, coming to record TADPOG, I think this has been a while back, but it was like twilight. It was the witching hour. I was like slowing down to make the turn, and this guy just steps out, like one big step just emerges from these woods, and he's completely in camo, and he's got a big like Duck Dynasty beard, and he's got these 2 huge trash bags. Just like thrown back like across both his shoulders, and he just looks up and kind of looks to the left, looks to the right, just kind of surveys the area and starts walking again. I don't know his story, but
Anybody
I like
see me bury these bodies?
I don't. Yeah,
Nope. Surely they won't talk about it on a podcast 20 years later, so I'll have to come and find them and kill them. It'll be all right.
What's in those bags, mister? Parts.
I like to think that this is this is like the Paducah, Kentucky druid. It just maybe just wasn't like didn't quite focus enough to do his like emerging from the woods like
Undetected.
Yeah. What is it? The woodland stride.
So it's just the first level
just,
druid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, should I come out of the woods as a hawk today? No, I think I'll just come out with these 2 bags.
What's up, Nicole?
Hi.
You ever seen anybody weird in the woods?
No.
Or seen anybody peeing in a funny way?
No.
Or jerked at anything weird in a catalog?
No.
Or
Wow.
just
That's a weird question to ask me since I don't jerk it.
You're sexy as Halloween, supposedly. I'm not gonna assign you anything. You do what you do.
Okay. Fun fact about me, I've always dressed up for Halloween. There's never been a Halloween that I didn't dress up.
really. Can you name all of your costumes?
No, I can't. For a long time.
Because then we know how old she is. No one can ever know exactly how old
I'm picking up what's going
For
on.
several years when I was a kid, I was a witch almost every year.
So that was going to be my next question: is if you reuse costumes.
Well, I didn't reuse them per se. They were different, but
Your grandmother
was a
reused
witch.
them.
No.
Nope, you're gonna be a witch.
No, I used the same idea. I was
Reinterpret?
the exact same witch every year.
Okay.
Were you a cute witch or were you like the?
I was an ugly witch. Yeah. Whenever I was like a little kid, like first grade or something, I won a costume contest. My grandmother had dressed me up as a gypsy. It's politically incorrect.
A Romanian traveler. I think
Romani, right?
a trickster.
I was April O'Neil one year.
Yeah. Not the porn star.
Do you usually do scary costumes or do you do sexy costumes ever?
I think I've done like 2 sexy costumes ever. I don't do scary costumes either. Fun costumes.
Fun costumes.
Okay.
Okay.
Fun costumes. My senior year of high school, There were 4 of us, and we wanted to be fairies, but we wanted to be scary fairies. So rather than be like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, we were the fairies of the apocalypse. So
Do you have a picture of that? Please tell me you have a picture of that.
I probably do somewhere.
If you can find that, I want that picture. I'll
Yeah,
put that
will
in
you
the show
share it
notes.
with us?
I made my own wings out of wire and pantyhose, and I spray painted them. And
Which horseman? Well, which fairy were you?
I don't remember. It's been too long.
Death.
Probably.
I'm gonna imagine this is probably your idea, so you're probably dead. You weren't like stuck with like famine.
Right.
I want to be pestilence, really.
Was one of your sexy costumes sexy Sebastian the Crab?
No.
Sexy Edward Scissorhands.
Damn.
I wouldn't have called that a sexy costume. That wasn't a sexy costume.
Well, Edward Scissorhands are just naturally sexy. There's not a whole
Well.
lot. I mean, you can do to not be sexy.
It's nothing sexier than someone who you just don't want to touch your dick. Nothing sexier. Bomberman 64.
Yeah, that's a game. That's a game that we played.
Dave, you hear that?
I really like that segment, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I do.
I prefer the Need for Speed hard right form of segue.
I hear that. It sounds like. What does it sound like? It sounds. Is it acid? Is it acid pee?
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to go through a man walking through a bush while he's trying to pee.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what's you know what's hauling that acid pee filled train that's conducted by 2 dogs. It sounds like the Dave Reads from Wikipedia train. That, of course, announces a segment that we like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia. Okay, guys. Real talk now. Bomberman 64, known in Japan as Baku Bomberman. They also have a really racist way of saying that in parentheses, Baku Bomberman. It literally translates to Explosive Bomberman. Is a video game developed by Hudson Soft and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo 64. It was released in Europe in 1997 and November 27, 1997, and released in North America 3 days later. The game is rated KA by the ESRB. I guess that's a thing we have to talk about now is game ratings.
Yeah.
Bomberman 64 is the first 3D game within the Bomberman series. It also implements a different single-player mode by incorporating action, adventure, and platforming stages instead of arenas in which enemies or other elements must be destroyed. The game has spawned 2 sequels on the N64, Bomberman Hero and Bomberman 64, The Second Attack. Which I will say, that's the end of Dave Reads from Wikipedia. The dogs have pulled the train into the station, and they've released all the P valves. They're going to restock and then pull on back.
Make sure they get some more acidic pee, more hobos
Yes.
coming out of the woods to pee in this.
Druids. Druids. I want to just say that I bought this game on eBay, and when I did, a lot of people do not know the difference between Bomberman 64 and those 2 sequels. Because everyone is like, it's just a hodgepodge. People are just like, I don't know, it's a Bomberman game. They just throw it on eBay. Like, they don't even look at the label. It's like, because I saw one, it was a really good price, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get this for a steal. The title is Bomberman 64, great condition, works, tested. Yes. I click on it, I look at the photograph. It's fucking Second Attack. Like, the label is clearly completely different than the listing. So a word of boring wisdom to everybody listening out there. I'm sure, out of everybody listening, there's one person who's like, okay, I will be careful. Thank you.
Okay, my first thing out of the gate about Bomberman, I'm going to say Bomberman for a while, just because. Bomberman. Just a mom goes around doing things that are fun. Bomberman 64 is that all my complaints about Mortal Kombat Trilogy, I don't have about Bomberman 64. Because up until Bomberman 64, all the Bomberman titles were essentially the same. You know, it's the 2D, the puzzle, the bombs going the 4 different directions. They're all similar. They're just kind of different maps, a few different bombs. They're just like same game, DLC, map packs, and weapon packs on top of each other. But for N64, new thing, 3D technology, let's make something different. So this is a drastic departure from the other Bomberman. Robert Bomberman?
Fellow Bomberman. Yeah, it is really different. It's the thing that I noticed immediately is it's not as frantic as the versions on the Super Nintendo, because it's weird because the Super Nintendo, like Super Bomberman and Super Bomberman 2, which we played and talked about on this show, is very structured, and they use that structure, they turn that structure on its head at certain points to just make you really stressed out. And by that I mean you always kind of know, like when you set a bomb down, you know it's going to go 4 squares, north, south, east, and west. And there's the board is 2D, like you said, so there's all these square tiles on the ground, so you can exactly measure out where the bomb blast is going to go, which is extremely structured. And then they make it faster paced and faster paced and faster paced to where you have to you start second guessing yourself. Oh, do I have the 6 square power up or the 4 square power up? I can't. Everything's so fast I can't remember. Bomberman 64 is the exact opposite, because you still get power ups in the single player mode, and I guess the battle mode. You still get power ups to make your explosion radius further and more powerful, but there's no really way, there's no exact science of being like,
yeah, because you're not on a grid, you're just free form walking around the map. Which the 4 of us played Super Bomberman for hours. We had a really good time playing against each other. When we started to play multiplayer on this, games didn't last that long. It didn't. I feel like it didn't pull the 4 of us into it like the Super Nintendo titles did.
I agree. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the battle mode, but I didn't enjoy it as much as on the Super Nintendo. Once again, it just didn't feel as fast paced or frantic.
Well, it's not. The game actually gets laggy, and it was especially so in adventure mode when I was playing. I forgot the name of the level. It's the ice level.
White Glacier.
Yeah, the White Glacier. Whenever you get there's more than 2 or 3 enemies on the screen and it's snowing, it gets laggy, really bad.
Yeah, the worst is when you kill a whole bunch of enemies on the screen and it's it's already laggy, just like you said, but then they all drop power ups.
Yeah,
and it's just it just crawls.
Yeah, and on the multiplayer, whenever you bomb a bunch of blocks and 6 or 7 power ups start going around the screen, it gets really laggy then too. So it just feels clunky and hard to control. I don't know. Yeah, maybe the controls weren't just as tight.
They take some getting used to, for sure. Because when I first started playing this game, it took me about, no joke, it took me about 45 minutes to feel like I understood how to play it. Because it's such a drastic departure from the overhead 2D game.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot that would have been great about it. For instance, you can kick the bomb, which you could in Super Bomberman, but you can do kick it diagonally. You can pick it up. You can throw the bomb from a higher level down to somebody below you, stuff like that. So there's several dimensions that you get to work with. But the controls felt clunky. It would get laggy when a lot of stuff was going on. It was kind of hard to gauge too.
It's impossible to know where things are gonna kind of detonate. I think it's cool that you could do those things. You could kick the bombs and pick the bombs up, and you could do all that without power-ups, because that was in the Super Nintendo versions. You had to have power-ups in order to do that stuff. So that's cool that it was kind of built in.
Well, Bomberman's learning.
Exactly. He's evolving. He's getting stronger. So I think that was cool. Nicole?
I agree that the multiplayer wasn't as good. I think it's because in their efforts to design the stages to show off the 3D, they just didn't make them as interesting.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because there weren't places to hide or ways to trap the other people in. And so it just wasn't as interesting. It was more just straight up open.
It's hey, you could drop off this.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah, it's they wanted to show off the 3D capabilities, but they just didn't take it far enough, I guess.
or to the fault of actually making a game that was fun.
There weren't like a lot of things in the level. Like in Super Bomberman, there would be like the levels with speed pads or
Right.
or the explosions or things like that. There wasn't that in the multiplayer. It was just different, varying like a pyramid. So you had different gradients of the 3D, and then the one with all the stairs, and that's just it.
And even even they do have blocks that you can bomb to get power ups, but even then there's like 6 or 7 of them maybe on the whole map, and they'll reappear later. But yeah, you only have a fraction of the number. Where some of the levels in Super Bomberman were primarily like blocks that you could blow up.
You start off like basically blocked in almost. So yeah, and then it was like even the power ups, like when you get a whole bunch of the power ups to make your radius larger, it was hard to notice for a long time. I get a lot of bomb upgrades where I would notice that, okay, that's noticeably bigger, as opposed to Super Bomberman where you get 2 blocks and you notice right away.
Yeah, I mean, you can measure it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, oh, this is definitely more powerful. I also feel like it caps early.
Yeah.
The spread of the bomb, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because Bomberman is slow in this game, so he doesn't have a lot of time to get out of a blast.
I don't think there's a speed power up either.
I think there is.
I never saw one
in the battle mode, but I didn't run across any in the adventure mode.
So I guess really the focus, what's different, because I feel like the other Bomberman titles, the focus was on the multiplayer and the single player was tacked on. And then for Bomberman 64, they flipped the formula where they put everything into single player, and then just multiplayer was, left just, we'll just take regular, but just make it 3D. We'll have to cut some things.
Which seems backwards because, especially for the N64, because it's like you have 4 controller ports.
It's built
I know.
in.
You don't have to mess with a multi-tap or anything. You just plug those controllers in and you're ready to go. I think it would have been really cool if they included like a classic version. I know like N64 cartridges limited on space and everything, but that would have been really cool to just have like a couple of throwback 2D maps that you could play multiplayer.
I'm with you 100%.
What did you guys think of Ghost mode for multiplayer?
I liked it.
I fucking hated it.
Explain it, Josh.
Okay, so in Super Bomberman, whenever you died, you're playing multiplayer, you got to influence the battle a little bit by like doing things outside of the arena.
Right.
In this, if you turn on ghost mode during the battle mode, you die. You become a ghost. You're a transparent Bomberman that gets to move around the screen just like the others. But you can, I think you can kick bombs. Like you can move bombs around that have been laid down, and then you can possess other Bombermen.
Right.
So you're a Patrick Swayze ghost kind of ghost.
Yeah. So you possess them and you are controlling them. You get to do everything they do. There's a little animation. Now you've got this Bomberman ghost, like it looks like he's riding piggyback on the back of the alive Bomberman. So, but yeah, I thought that was cool. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I can see Tyler's frustration when it just completely makes the battles unfair.
Oh, absolutely it does. Because it's like...
I'm doing well, I'm about to win. All of a sudden, like, everyone who I've killed, all of a sudden just take control and run me into a bomb. That's just it.
But I feel like it needed that hectic element. You can turn it off, but man, fuck that. You gotta play with possessions.
So single player mode? Talk about single player mode?
Yeah. We can talk about adventure mode. I played a lot of it. Well, let me rephrase that. I spent a lot of time on it. I wasn't able to get through all of the content because I thought it was really hard. And maybe I'm just not good at this game. The game totally made me feel like the other night I turned to you, Tyler, and was like, I feel like I'm really not good at this game because I am dying constantly. And like the biggest enemy is not my bombs, surprisingly, like it has been in previous versions. The biggest enemy is just falling off ledges. Just straight up falling off ledges because I don't see them.
Because the camera angles are bad too. So you rotate your camera 3 out of 4 would just be into a wall.
Yeah, you'd rotate it just right into a big old cluster of textures. And that's the other thing is you had to manually rotate the camera. So it's I mean, which I think is pretty normal for N64 games, but it makes it difficult because there's a lot of this fast-paced, not really even fast-paced, that's the wrong word to use, but when you drop a bomb and then you're stunned and you have to figure out where you need to run to safely, I'm just slamming those yellow buttons, like just trying to just position the camera in a manner where I can walk down the bridge without falling off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't feel like I raged quit. I'm really apathied quit. Because I was on the snow level, which you've got to adjust the camera angle or you're gonna fall off the ledge, and you're getting blown by the wind this whole time, and so I just fell off one too many times. I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to go, what I was supposed to do. And every time I died, I just started caring less and less, and finally I just didn't care enough to pick back the controller up. So
it's more puzzly than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Because right out the gate, the first world I think is it's like Green Zone or something like that. It's very Sonic the Hedgehog. Seriously, even there's a bass line where it's like, I'm pretty sure that's like from Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like this like funky, like groovy bass line. But I was playing the second stage of this world, and I couldn't figure out what the fuck to do. I could not figure it out. And I hate looking up videos. I really like figuring things out for my own because I get more enjoyment out of games that way. But I broke down and watched a guy play it, and it is just 100% a secret thing. It's like a hidden thing in the level where it's like you can't finish it unless you find this one secret thing. And it's not really obvious either. It's one of those things where it's like, I understand, like, it's cool to hide secrets in a game, but man, that's frustrating when it's like that's the only way to progress is to find this hidden thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was a peeve of mine because it set a precedent immediately where it's like, oh God, I'm like really gonna have to like fucking think about a level for maybe an hour, maybe an hour to figure it out.
Because I didn't like on the first level whenever I'm running around and you have to step on these tiles to destroy these crystals to get the bigger crystal that you need. And one of the tiles is like, you just have to go to an area and rotate your camera a few times to actually be able to see where you have to go and step under to get to the tile. And that was just frustrating with me. Like, I'm just going to have to go to every nook and cranny and just turn the camera completely around me and then try to go somewhere else and turn it around me as opposed to action-oriented gaming. But
yeah, it's a change of pace, and it's weird. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but in regular, I keep saying regular, but like 2D Bomberman, you cannot jump, and that doesn't bother me. But when it's transformed into 3D, I just feel like I need to fucking jump, and you cannot jump.
well, you
have
to in a really weird way,
Yeah.
and it's like necessary, and it's just weird because what you can use bombs as like platforms that you can bounce off of, which is a cool idea to further what Bomberman can do. But in order to jump without having to fall onto something, you'll have to like place a bomb behind you and place a bomb in front of you and sort of bounce between the two bombs to go up a level to bounce on that bomb and then lay another bomb.
Yeah,
and that's just
it's
just how you have to play the game, and it's weird.
Yeah, it is. I think it's weird too. But I'm totally biased because it's not the Super Nintendo version. So it's difficult for me to be like,
well, I think that's a reasonable response because, they've built this fan base, for those games, and now they've completely changed primarily an adventure mode game, and then they've taken that adventure mode and just made it a non-action puzzle solving game. So
they added a story. I mean, I know the other games technically had a story, but like they actually have a story with dialogue and everything in this version, which I actually think is
pretty dark.
Yeah, it's pretty dark and it's pretty interesting too. Like Altair has something called the Omnicube, and he has to power the Omnicube up. And in order to do that, he strips energy from the land, and he's done that a few places.
It's the Galactus Cube, where it just goes world to world and sucks all the life out and just eats it.
So he's used it to construct the Bomberman equivalent of a Death Star, where he's pulled like 4 different pieces of land and tethered them together to a fortress, which I think that's pretty standard Bomberman. And then he has made an enemy with a Power Ranger named Sirius, whose family died from this, I don't know, Death Star construction, and he's not powerful enough to beat him, so he's going to help you beat him. And I guess you do. I don't know. I didn't finish the game.
And they kill, in the intro, they use the Omni Cube to basically kill like a ton of the Bombermen all over. Like you see like Final Fantasy VI style, whenever the face is being rearranged and these big lasers go around and waves of fire just killing droves of Bombermen all over the place. And then you're the White Bomberman who's just like, all right, gotta fix this shit. All right, let's go White Ranger.
They do the very tropey thing where you're on the cliff, like the camera's behind you and you're on the cliff, like watching all this happen. Very, very Mega Man. They're taking a play out of Capcom's playbook. Nicole, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Specifically because you are the N64, you're our resident N64 expert.
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, yes, it is, but I think you can handle it.
Okay.
My question to you is,
Yes.
where would you put this game on like a scale of good or bad for N64 games?
I had a lot of N64 games, and this was one of my go-tos.
This one was? We normally ask if anyone here has played the game. I just assumed that no one had. This was one of your go-tos?
Yeah, you always said you guys played this game as a kid, but you didn't. I was thinking about that. I was like, I guess you guys didn't consider yourself kids. I was a kid when this came out. So what'd you say? It came out in 97?
97, yeah.
So I would have been like in 4th grade.
Oh my God, that makes me feel ancient. I was a sophomore in high school. So you loved this game as a kid then?
I wouldn't say I loved it.
Okay.
But it was one of my go-tos, yeah.
Did you ever finish it?
No.
How far did you get?
It's been a long time. I don't remember.
Okay.
Did you play it for the multiplayer, or did you play single for the single
I was
player?
an only child.
Oh, okay.
So
this worked out for you.
Exclusively multiplayer.
So I had 4 controllers. I would move a little bit with one, grab the other, move a little bit more.
We laugh, but that is totally something that I would have done.
No, I only had one friend who would play video games with me, and that was
Josh.
It was a weird relationship.
Josh was her babysitter.
no. Occasionally, I could get one of my friends to play Mario Kart with me for a little while.
Yeah.
That was the extent of it. None of my other friends would play video games with me. So
Did you guys make your babysitters play video games with you like I did?
Yeah, one of my babysitters would beat Mario, like the original Mario, for me. Because I think I mentioned on the show before, I could always get to the last level. I just never could beat it. So usually my dad would step in. But when my dad wasn't there, I would get my babysitter too.
Tyler, Nicole,
I never
forced
had a
babysitters?
babysitter.
You never had a babysitter? Tyler?
I don't remember ever playing. Most of the time would just like flirt with my hot babysitters.
Yeah. I never did, but I always just tried to look down her shirt.
Yeah.
Just like drop things because I saw that in Dream On. If I drop this thing, she'll bend over and then I win. I don't know how this works, but I know I'm supposed to get her to bend over.
Because for the majority, I had like incredibly hot babysitters. I don't know. I guess my dad did some scouting for me. Like, no. My son will have exclusively hot babysitters. Josh went to church with one of them, Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
It was super, super hot.
Yeah, okay. She never babysat me. Guess she was too busy babysitting you.
Yeah.
She's a one kid kind of girl.
It's okay. It's okay. My babysitter could beat Mario.
Okay. My babysitters would just like, I would bring them different kinds of cologne and find out which one they liked. And I'd wear that for them the next time they babysat me. So like I'd bring out like all my mom and my dad's perfume and cologne, and they'd smell them all. And I'd remember which one it was, and then just cover myself in it for the next time they came over. So my dad would get mad at me because, man, I used so much of his Joop. So I remember that's what what Rachel liked. And so like, it's JOOP, exclamation point, Joop.
I think your dad probably made his own cologne.
It's kerosene and paint thinner, and we'll call it our no Joop.
We're laughing, but you had sex with 3 of your babysitters. I'm sorry. I feel really bad that we didn't do the normal thing. Like did you play this game? Because I just figured no one played this game.
So we're just gonna ask that because you and I didn't play the N64 much. So that question will just go to the wayside.
So what
So that'll be your new segment, Nicole, when you're hosting.
Did I play this game?
Yeah.
Exactly.
you said it was one of your go-tos. What were your go-tos?
And what does it go to?
What do you mean? What is it?
So we're asking, well, like, what's it go to?
Well, I had a lot of games, mostly because my dad is like a collector of things. And so if he knew that I was into something, he would go and buy all of them. So
It's pretty awesome.
I had a lot
that's
of
very
them.
nice. I really like Jupe, Dad.
Get all the juice.
So I had several games that I didn't play like very much at all. So my go-to would be like one of the games I enjoyed playing.
Games you actually liked. Okay.
So Bomberman 64 was on fleek.
Young, but not that young.
On what?
On fleek.
Fleek?
On fleek.
What is fleek?
It means it's
No, you have to combine the two. It's on fleek.
on fleek.
On fleek?
Bomberman 64 is on fleek.
It's what the kids are saying
Are
nowadays.
you trying
What
to?
is it?
Are you trying to build a new, like a younger?
We're
audience?
trying
Is this
to.
what-
We
I don't
got
think this is gonna
Cutie
work.
Pie. We got your number. We're gonna get all those kids away.
It means it's let me try to I'm gonna try to figure out what the translation is for Nicole circa her senior year in high school.
2006.
Oh, okay. Jesus. So it's 2006. It's
Way the bomb is way. That's still that's way
the
too
bomb
far
is
gone.
way back. So is it Uber? Ugh. Okay, I just got a grimace. I don't know.
What'd you say? Sick? I feel like that's 290s too.
Yeah.
Badass?
Radical.
Radical.
I don't know that we said any of those things.
How would you attribute something as being cool or
Cool.
I guess okay. I guess
cool
on
stuff was
fleek
that.
is something is like it's perfect or it's on point
Yeah.
or like if you tweeze your eyebrows really well one day and I noticed I'd say, Nicole, your eyebrows are on fleek.
Damn, girl, your eyebrows are on fleek.
That's a weird expression.
That's how I think everybody feels about the younger generation. Welcome to this side now. Now we have finally you have crossed over.
Damn it.
Well, let's start making up our own shit. I mean, Archivist Gordon's doing a really good job by sending us like things to define for Urban Dictionary. Let's continue this and be like,
Bomberman 64 is pre-jupe. Pre-jupe.
damn, your eyebrows are like hamburger tongue.
You get skills like beef.
Damn. I think that's unfair for me to say. We just said it was cool. I know in 2006 you guys had some like lame ass
There had to
shit.
be
You look
something.
I
back.
can't think of anything. I really can't.
The 2000s are just kind of, I don't know. I was doing a lot of cocaine, so I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's a blur.
I did cocaine in both the 80s and the 2000s.
I'll pull out my senior yearbook and see if there's any
Nice.
slang
Okay, that'll be
expressions
good.
in there.
I pulled mine out after Tyler shared from his the other day because I was like, there's no way mine's as weird as that. Pretty weird. Here was the trend in 2000 when I graduated. People would write was WZ and then draw an arrow pointing up.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Actually, Brady Gatsby did this when we would write notes in high school. She would always start. Tyler was up arrow, down, and then 4 arrows in a circle for all around.
Quarter circle forward for Hayudoken.
Let me grab something real quick since we're talking about your book.
Okay.
Yeah, Nicole was going through my yearbook a few days ago, and I just couldn't bring myself to look at it. It was just
The thing that got me
so
is that
cringeworthy for me.
all the girls you graduated with had like mom hairstyles, like short, like
Like Bob's. They're going for like the Jennifer Aniston.
they weren't like bobs. They were like big stacked, like volumey.
like beehives.
It's weird mom hairstyles. Like I look at their hairstyles and I imagine that they have really super high rise jeans on.
It's not on fleek. Not hamburger tongue.
Would you just like read a bunch of Jaden Smith tweets or something?
We should. That should be the rest of this episode.
Okay, yeah.
Or it's like here's what he has to say about Bomberman 64. Man, y'all, Bomberman 64 is really stupid. Yeah, I mean, I guess
Okay.
he's
well.
I can't get what does that word even mean? Is that a word? Fleek?
on fleek. On.
You got to
fleek.
say it together.
But I don't
On
know.
fleek.
So
what it means.
it's on like
It's on. Like
so fleek
it's
is a
on.
word. It's
Like Donkey Kong. It's on like Donkey Kong fleek.
How is it spelled?
FLEEK. You're
I feel like somebody misspelled the word fleck and then
I'm on fleck.
or fleet. Like it's
yeah.
Or someone misunderstood like Ben Affleck when he's like, I'm Ben Affleck. Yeah, you are on fleek.
you, bro. You been on fleet. I know you.
You Batman.
No, because what I cringed at when I was looking through, I found my sophomore yearbook. And I was looking through
Nice.
that, and I found, because I did the whole thing, as soon as I got it, I opened up one of the pages and I wrote reserved in all the corners because that was for my girlfriend to sign. And she had to do a whole page. And I read through what she wrote. And it's just like, oh, fuck. Did not know what we were saying.
Can we read? Can we read some of those?
Can we read it?
Please. I'd like to think this was like her punishment for
Here,
you.
I'm gonna show everybody.
Don't read that whole
Wow,
thing.
that is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. This for the next 20 minutes at TADPOG Theater, I'm going to write what my high school girlfriend wrote in my sophomore yearbook.
Read it as Sophie the Giraffe.
I mean, trying to find some of the most cringy parts. Because she writes about how we met was she started dating a douchey kid on my school bus.
Okay.
So when she was dating him, I called him and got her phone number and stole her out from underneath him. So he hated
That was
me
a
for a
ballsy
He
plan.
hated me until he moved. And then I also liked her best friend first.
Okay.
And then stopped liking your best friend and decided I wanted to switch trains.
Can you tell us why?
Oh, this sounds shitty.
I thought it might. That's why I asked.
Because I was like, for some reason, like I understood that her best friend wasn't conventionally attractive, but I thought she was, okay, she's attractive. So I liked her. I started talking to her until a whole bunch of other people said, ooh, she's gross. And I was like, okay, all right, never mind then.
Okay.
Because, well, she was conventionally like huge boobs, blonde hair, blue eyes, tan, but
Had a
it
tail.
was well, it was like a normal person ate like a whole bunch of the Mario mushrooms, where she wasn't fat, but she just looked like
Puffy?
she was like one of the snoo women from Futurama.
Okay.
She's large.
She was just large.
All right.
And like
Was she in charge?
the first few times I thought she was pretty, but then the more I got to know her, she would talk like she had inhaled a bunch of helium, but that was her social voice. If she was being herself, like with her close friends, she sounded nothing like
She
that.
sounded like Wesley Snipes.
But no, she just had this weird voice she used because she thought it was cute.
Yeah.
And she also, like, one of those people, like, she dressed up way too much for school, like way too much. And I remember on yearbook day, she essentially wore a wedding dress. So, and like that level of like prom dresses, like 3 days of the week to go to school in, like it was just off-putting.
To be fair, she did get married that day.
But let's see. You're my world, and I'll never ever hurt you. Okay.
Post that on her Facebook
That
wall.
didn't work out. Well, unless I give you one of my buff chick punches. She thought she was pretty funny. She thought that was a funny line.
Well, I don't know what that means. But I know what a punch is.
It's what is a punch slang for?
She was proud in her ability to punch rather hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a chick and she's buff.
Did she beat you, Tyler?
Do you want to talk?
Yeah.
She got after me a few times. When I beat her like pretty soundly in Tony Hawk, that would cause some violence. She came after me with the
I'm
intent
glad
to
you-
harm me.
I'm glad
after Tony Hawk.
I'm really glad you added the on Tony Hawk part. When I would beat her, she would come at me.
Well, any kind of argument, we could get in like horrible arguments, and it never escalated to that level unless like Tony Hawk or Monopoly were involved. Then shit got bad. Let's see. You're right, it looks like rough waters up ahead, but I promise we'll make it. We can make it through anything and everything.
Who the hell writes that in a yearbook?
Right.
Where it's like,
When you're 14?
yeah.
I agree. There might be some rough waters ahead.
I may or may not have fallen asleep with Lifetime on. I don't know.
And she says you're right. So you predicted there was going to be rough water. What were you planning to do, Tyler?
I had to give my job and move on. Well, I do it's probably chances are probably against us that we're just gonna make it from the time we're 14. Let's see. I may go through my jealous stages / rages, but I know you care for me and only me.
Our hearts are in cages. One day we'll get jobs and earn wages.
I'm sorry for hating completely innocent people. Well, at this time, I was close to the Gatsbys, so she hated them because they were girls I was friends with. I remember the first time she met Brainy Gatsby, it was just like two cats coming up on each other because, I mean, she saw her and just immediately just...
She's like, which one did you see get finger blasted?
What, that one? Okay, never mind. I'm not worried about that one. Let's see. I'm sorry for hating completely innocent people. I'm not going to say see you next year because I know we'll be together tons this summer.
We'll both be dead.
I love you. Later, love. And then signs her name again. Love her name.
Which is love.
And then P.S. Scooby Doo, which was her nickname for my penis.
So essentially, she wrote P.S.
P.S.
Your
Dick.
penis.
I was talking to a guy at work today.
P.S. You dick.
He said that's how everybody signed his yearbook. They would write a message like, oh man, it's been a fun year. Have a good summer. See you in the fall. And then just draw a big dick underneath it. So his entire yearbook is full of that. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, I feel like we're done here.
It's like we're talking about dropping bombs a lot, so I should probably read something out of my yearbook.
I did want to say that I really like the music in Bomberman.
It's kind of catchy. Which
I usually don't pay any attention to the music in games, so I feel like the fact that I noticed it means a lot.
What was it about this game that you liked as a kid?
I liked that it was difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I had to think. I liked it.
That's fair. And that's like it's one of those games where I do feel like if I had a lot of time and I wasn't doing it in my off hours from work within a week, I probably would enjoy sitting down and figuring out a lot of these puzzles. But like when I'm playing it and it's 2 a.m. and I have to wake up for work in 5 hours and
You got a baby crying in the background.
it's just like
Cats wanting to be fed, kneading on your leg.
the room's really hot. There's a guy I've paid to dress up like the devil and poke me with a stick.
I think I may have missed my window to play this game.
So I could see that. Like I honestly like that is a game. Like that's the kind of game that I would have gotten into when I was a younger kid. Because like there's a NES game that you might be aware of, but it was like 20 years before you were born, called The Adventures of Lolo, which was all about like going around solving puzzles, that kind of stuff. So I kind of had a little bit of that feel for me, which I really enjoyed. But man, I just can't right now. I'm not in a good place to play a Bomberman 64.
Yeah, I would, if I had played this, like, Josh, if you'd bought this when we had your N64, then I imagine I would have enjoyed this. But now this game is kind of hard to go back to, especially because now it feels so sparse and slow.
Buckle up, because I think that's going to be a trend for this list. I think
I can understand the time period and the limitations of trying to finally work with 3D programming. And
we'll probably get like 8 in and then finally get used to it.
Yeah,
and be like, oh, okay, this is just how it is.
Yeah.
Nicole, how do you think the game held up? Like playing it as an adult, what do you like? Was it as good as you remember it, or
it doesn't look very good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was probably the main thing. Whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, it doesn't look very good. But I mean, other than that,
That big like neon Comic Sans.
Oh man, the fucking graphic design in
Is
this
it
game
that
is
90s as it fucking gets?
It is awful. Yeah, the battle mode. Oh god,
the Tesla
Josh.
coils and pink neon and Comic Sans.
White Comic Sans with like a thick, like bright, hot pink stroke around it. It was just like, oh god. Big buttons, like GeoCity style buttons for you to select.
Yeah, but I mean, and looking online because I wanted to know more information about the game, and like people fucking loved this game.
Oh god damn it!
Love this.
You should have said that from the beginning, so I could have changed my opinion, so no one would be mad at us.
So overall, I don't think it's not a bad game.
Yeah. Let's start backpedaling. Oh no, it's
not
totally
a bad
not
game.
horrible.
The multiplayer was lazy. But I can appreciate that they tried something new and it spurred the next generation of Bomberman. But going back, it's still hard. I feel like going back, if there's something on this list that is really good, we'll recognize it as being good in a timeless sort of way, as opposed to, okay, well, this is okay and it's clearly a relic of its time, like I feel this game is. But yeah, people have nostalgia glasses for it hard.
I will say that if you're listening to this and you played Bomberman 64 and you loved it, so did I. If you didn't,
leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah, you know what we love? 5-star reviews.
So what we should do for every game is like one of us loves it and the other one hates it. That way we get the spread.
Perfect.
It'll be fine.
We'll start scripting the show. There'll be like a read from yearbook cue. Like there'll be a little light that dings when it's time for you to read from a yearbook.
I like this game and I'm pro-life. Well, I hated this game and I'm pro-choice. And we'll just spread it thin.
You know what's a lot like Bomberman? Abortions.
Put $1 in the Patreon and choose which side you want. Okay. Do you want to know about the ending?
Yeah, what did
Because it's got a pretty big twist.
Really?
Because normally,
fucking serious? Does he turn on you?
yes.
Oh, that bastard! Is he Altair?
No.
Okay.
Well, see normally the ending. Apparently what changes the ending is how many of these gold cards you get. And there are 120 gold cards in the game.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
You have to get basically all of them to get the good ending.
Oh no!
So yeah, and some of them are super obscure. Like
they are.
You have to have a guide. Like when you're fighting the big fish on a raft, you have to let it go down to one log, and that's how you get the card from beating him. I guess the bosses are also like something we didn't really mention.
We need to talk about the bosses.
I think the bosses are, compared to the past bosses, kind of uninspired because they're all large, have reach, and you just have to throw bombs at them. And they'll have the hearts on the side, and that's the only way to tell if you've hurt them.
They're like the girl that you originally liked.
Yes. Yes. Big with lots of reach, and you have to throw bombs at her.
Yeah, although I think the boss design, like the way they look, is really cool. Like I like that. The first boss is essentially, I'm going to erase what I said immediately. The first boss is essentially Panzer Dragoon. I mean, it just really is. It's just it's a blue dragon. And then the second one is the giant fish that you fight on a raft. And the third one is in the Red Mountain.
That lava robot?
Yeah, he looks like Gato from Chrono Trigger did it with a black mage. And then they had a large robot child that lives in lava.
That's pretty fair. That's probably what would happen.
And then I did not fight any of the other ones because I was like, we have to record this show now.
Yeah. Because I've seen people will speedrun this game in an hour.
Jesus.
But I imagine, like, if you know exactly what you're doing, then you could make quick work
Yeah.
of it. It's just trying to figure it out that first time through. And there are a lot of cheap deaths. You have to know just how to avoid it.
The mini bosses are pretty cool too. We haven't talked about those. Like in the second stage of every world, you fight a mini boss who is like a nega Bomberman. And it kind of plays out like a battle mode would in multiplayer, where you will frantically drop bombs and kick them and throw it at them while they do the same thing but also have a special move. Like Orion is green Power Ranger looking Bomberman, and he has this ability to like he'll flex kind of like Colossus in the X-Men arcade stand up. Thank you. And this like green force field will shoot out from him. And if you're caught in that force field, you're automatically stunned. And what he will do is, it's a lava level. He will just walk over, pick you up, and just throw you off the stage. Just like that. He is a cold motherfucker, Orion.
But apparently, so once you go through and you fight the boss, you fight Altair, and right before you beat him, and then right before you're about to kill him, then whoever the last boss was comes down and grabs him, and they fly off.
Okay.
And then you're back with all your other Bombermen, and Sirius comes down, and he's like, well, he got away. I guess that can't be helped. I'll probably never see you again. Bye. Game over.
Really? If
That's
you don't
it.
get all the
If you don't
cards,
get all
that's
the
what
cards.
happens?
Yep.
Oh, no, that's horrible.
But if you get all the cards, then right before you're about to kill Altair, Sirius shows up, takes the Omni Cube, then he kills Altair, and then proceeds to try and kill you because he's been using you to get the cube, which was originally his. He just lost it. So then you and another one of the bosses he just a turncoat joins you, and the two of you then proceed to fight Sirius. And then once you beat and kill Sirius, then you get the true ending, the best ending.
So not only is it a secret ending, there's another boss.
There's another
fight.
So,
okay.
And apparently like Orion can do, you can stun Sirius, throw him off the stage for a one-hit kill.
Really?
And that's it. And then after you kill him, that's when then all the floating palaces or whatever then crumble and fall down, and the cube is then nullified and everything's good.
I'm kind of glad I didn't finish this game.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was not collecting all the gold cards because they don't tell you what they do. And it's just, they just seem kind of like extra things, like, collecting everything in Donkey Kong Country or something like that, where it's like, oh, well, maybe at the end it'll be like, this is how much of the game you complete.
Alan Wake
This is
needs
the
these
percentage.
coffee thermoses.
Yeah.
I bet he gets really sleepy at the end of the game if you get all the coffee
those
thermoses. He has the energy to keep going.
Okay. Well, I would have been really, really mad if I got to the end of the game. It's serious. Was just like, I guess we're done here.
And apparently, once you get the real ending and all the cards, then when you replay levels and find where you would talk to Sirius and he would give you a hint or something like that, his dialogue is completely different.
Really?
Like
That's cool.
Where one, he would give you a hint. If you go up and talk to him, he'd be like, just bow before me and just end it now. And just dialogue like that for the rest of the game.
Cool. I like that.
So, yep.
I can't remember if I mentioned this on a previous Bomberman episode. So if I have, I'm sorry. But playing this game in particular in 3 dimensions and all its polygonal glory really, really makes me want Bomberman in a Smash Brothers game.
That would be
I
good.
really want
I would
Bomberman. Like that
yeah.
could
All right,
possibly be a main.
TADPOG
for
Nation,
me.
get on and vote for Bomberman.
Is voting still going on? Because
They closed that. They
damn
said
it.
they closed it saying that if people weren't going to submit serious things, and they weren't going to do it, so they shut it down.
I guess they really wanted Sirius to be the next
Yeah.
the next combatant. That sucks. What were people putting in? Like a giant penis?
I can't remember. It was just like the most obscure, obtuse things from any other game, or something that
What
you've
the
only
fuck
seen
did they
once.
expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either.
They're like, hey, people who love obscure video games.
That's like Mountain Dew. Whenever they had that contest to name the next flavor, and everybody put in like. Number one answer was Hitler did nothing wrong. So Mountain Dew, Hitler did nothing wrong, and Granny squirts and shit like that.
So I don't know. I've probably said that every single Bomberman episode we've done, but if that's the case, I'm going to reiterate.
I don't think you've said it before, so that's
Yeah, I think it would fit well.
I mean, his moveset is already built in Bomberman 64, where it's like, well, he does this thing where he puts a bomb down, and that can kill enemies. He does this thing where he picks a bomb up and then pumps it up. That's a mechanic we didn't talk about, which I think is cool. You can grab a bomb and rapidly press A, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, if Bomberman gets a bomb,
Oh, shit.
Hudson Soft is defunct now, so I wonder who even has the rights to.
Are they
Bomberman.
defunct? Because I know they've got a Twitter account. Because
Oh, really?
I tweeted them today.
I thought they
and
were.
It was
Okay.
like, hey, y'all, why don't you release something on Steam? That would be awesome. Because I would play I played so much Bomberman Live on the 360, and it was so fun because it was just all it was multiplayer. And they put everything into multiplayer where they made these interesting maps. They had all the power-ups from the games. They had a really cool ghost mode. And they had all these collectibles where you could dress your Bomberman up in costumes. You could make your Bomberman a sexy Pocahontas if you won a certain number of games.
With no bottom half.
Yes, exactly. And they had things that would unlock when you got to a certain rank and stuff like that. It was all about leaderboards. I really, really want that on Steam. I would play the shit out of that. That would just be my thing. Like I would gladly pay full retail for something like that, and it would consume me just playing Bomberman multiplayer.
It would be good. I'd be all for that.
It's never gonna happen.
Do you have any achievements for this game?
I have a couple.
Okay.
I have a couple. Did we do achievements for Mortal Kombat, by the way? I was thinking that today.
Yeah, I did the one that was about Goro looking weird and
Good.
Yeah.
Because I was doing achievements this afternoon, right before recording, and I was like, I feel like we forgot them in Mortal Kombat. My first achievement, Tyler, is called Blockhead. And in order to unlock Blockhead, you need to pay Lucy 5 cents to get your to get therapized.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And you destroy all the blocks in any stage, in any world, and you unlock Blockhead.
Okay.
My second achievement is Possession is 9/10 of the law. And in order to unlock Possession is 9/10 of the law, you have to lose every battle mode, but kill the person who killed you. So you have to lose every mode, you have to lose every battle, and then the person who killed you in that battle, you have to murder as a ghost.
Possess them and then have them run into their own bomb or whatever. Okay.
That's all I got. I jotted down when you were telling me the story. I jotted down Omnizeus, but I don't really have anything.
My only one is a better kinetic card, and that is getting all the golden playing cards.
Okay, nice.
Because otherwise it's just like, I don't know, Bomb Master, drop 10,000 bombs on a level or something.
Demolitions
some
expert.
Shit. Yeah.
I went that route too at first.
Pump up the jams. Pump up 100 bombs to max capacity. And throw
Okay,
them.
that's a good one. That's legitimate. Don't say it in that tone. That was really good. Josh, Nicole, do you have any achievements?
No.
No, I was trying to put together. You didn't give me enough time. I was trying to put together a holy hand grenade to blow up the bunny in the snow level.
I can read some more out of my yearbook, and you can just
Yeah, we can
brainstorm.
always kill time with your book.
So
I've got 4 full
so
high
there's
school
something
yearbooks over there.
So you blow up a bunny with a bomb, and it's something to do with a holy hand grenade. Yeah, so
Nice.
There you go.
That reminds me of one that I completely forgot because I think I've used this as a title before, but I wanted to destroy something beautiful. And in order to unlock, I wanted to destroy something beautiful is you have to kill a butterfly in the blue resort world to harvest its heart, which is a thing. The butterflies in that level drop hearts when you blow them up.
Yeah,
there's
like an innocent creature in each level that you blow up to get their heart. Yeah,
That blue theme is apparently that's all over YouTube. People have that track and the remixes of that track, 10-hour editions of that track on
Oh,
YouTube.
really?
Like that's the music. That's the track from the game that everybody apparently loves.
That's the world in the game that I'm pretty sure is a commentary on North Korea. Because like you're walking around and it's like it's beautiful, but it's like it looks like it's a veneer and it's this resort and there are these like armed humans that just fire at you when they see you. So I'm just like, yeah, it's got to be.
So Bomberman is Hudson Soft's mascot, essentially. Does PlayStation even have a mascot anymore?
Crash Bandicoot, right?
And it
I
was
think
Crash
that's like
Bandicoot,
the closest thing, right?
but I don't think Crash Bandicoot's had a game since. Do you have a PS2 game?
You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know.
I know I played 3
I
for
mean,
PlayStation 1.
Sonic had games, but Sonic shouldn't have had games. So,
Yeah.
so really, what's better? Like, you want to go the Sonic route or the Crash Bandicoot route?
I don't know. I guess it's Kratos because everything he's in every expansion and the tacked on characters and everything for Sony now.
I kind of hope they don't have one.
Yeah.
Like out of all those options, like I kind of feel
Or is
like
it that vice president guy, Kevin? What's his name? Is he the mascot?
probably. When I think of Hudson Soft, I always think of the bee.
Yeah,
That's what they should make a whole game out of that bee.
just that bee.
Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
I've had a lot of fun today. Talking about kind of talking about Bomberman 64, a game that I totally love. I totally love
And
that
I
game.
totally hate
Oh
it.
my god! Oh, at the same time, it's
Combined together, we think this game is totally okay.
oh wow, it's a perfect episode.
This is a solid 24 out of 25.
If you were to give this game a beard, Tyler, what kind of beard would you give it?
I would have to give it a fiery beard that is completely composed out of triangles. So it's like a yellow triangle and an orange triangle and a red triangle and then a darker red triangle, and just repeating that pattern to be like a flaming explosive beard.
Okay, a Red Mountain beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in Star Fox, it looks like what Andros spews at you, just in beard form.
Okay. If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, Tyler, what kind of glasses would you give it?
I guess I'd have to give it the Bomberman sort of helmet. I'd imagine there's a protective screen on the helmet. So a bomb diffusing
His face, yeah.
face. two U's and a piece of glass. Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
It'll protect you in case of bombs.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Or your face. You'll still probably die from an explosion, but your face will be okay for the open casket.
Well, that's what really matters.
Because Nicole has very, very strong feelings about the way we treat our dead in modern day society and how terribly creepy it is.
It is kind of weird,
It's-
isn't it?
It's so weird.
So you sure whenever you die, you don't want... We'll paint you up real pretty. Real pretty. We'll dress you up in your favorite dress and put you in a box and everybody come up and talk to you.
No.
No, we'll suck everything out of you and pump chemicals in you so you won't smell funny.
Glue my eyelids shut.
Do you want to ride down the giant slide into the huge blender with me? Is that...
Or we get the catapult to launch you into the body farm through the window in UK.
That's fine.
strategically before they put you in the catapult, they strategically make cuts so that when my body is launched, it just comes apart.
Dave always wanted us to like attach him with strings, so whenever we fire him, he looks like one of those fall apart toys. Like your arms just go like 5 feet away in string, and you wrap around something really tightly. You hit a telephone pole and just wrap around it.
Well, it's actually my last wish. My dying wish is to make my friends miserable and do something they don't want to do. It's like, God, he wants us to cut him into like 40 pieces? I mean, he's dead. We got to honor his wishes. Start cutting.
Thanks for coming on, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having.
Playing more Bomberman with us.
Yeah, the next time we'll have to do another Bomberman game. We just have to.
From what I read, people liked the next one better.
Really?
It's not on the list, but I'd play it.
Yeah, I'd give it a go.
It looks a lot better.
Really? Mm-hmm. How is that?
The textures are smooth,
Okay.
as opposed to a Bomberman of sharp edges that could harm a child.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I'd give it a go. I'm always down to try pretty much any Bomberman.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. So don't miss the next episode. We're going to be talking about... I can't remember what our Other Shit Monday game is.
LSD Dream.
Is it LSD? The LSD Dream Simulator, requested by Brandon of Axelay fame, or Brandon of Axel Rose fame. I think that's his iTunes name.
Yeah.
So
Probably
I'm pretty
not-
sure it's him.
Probably not the same guy. Probably not.
And then we'll be doing number 23 next week. I think that's Resident Evil 2.
That's correct.
And on my list, I've written that Josh is going to be on that. I don't think we really talked about it, but I want Josh to be on that.
Oh, thanks for the invite. Yeah, sounds good to me.
Cool.
We still love 5-star iTunes reviews.
We do.
We still love them.
Still?
We need it.
I mean, you
Still,
agree.
you guys?
Yeah, still.
Wow.
You
Still.
agree with either Tyler or me on how good this game or bad this game was. So why not leave us a 5-star review?
And then say which one you agree with.
Because you agree with us and we agree with you.
And then
so
say whether
makes
you're
sense.
pro-choice or pro-life. If you want to go ahead and vote, just vote for that.
Yeah.
Vote for that to win. I think really TADPOG 5-star iTunes reviews is the way to settle that argument.
Probably. I know that all the world leaders always check TADPOG.
I'll tweet Hillary
5-star
Clinton,
reviews.
and if she
Yeah.
wins in 2016, and then in 2020, well, like, okay, based on however many 5-star reviews on TADPOG, that's the way the law goes. And she'll probably be fine with it.
I hope we're doing this show in 2020 because I've got so many Barbara Walters jokes that I got to tell throughout the whole year. Every episode, I vow, will have a Barbara Walters joke.
So we'll have to do our best Barbara Walters impression. It's gonna be great.
That's clearly how we're going to close the show out today.
Good call. So not only just put that, what you think, what your political opinions are, or if there's a game you want us to play, or a guest host you want for a certain episode, just put all that in there.
Yeah. Do you have a political rant? Like a manifesto you'd like to post?
It may take several 5-star iTunes reviews, but don't be afraid to just put your whole manifesto of whatever political beliefs or religious beliefs, whatever you just want to put out there for people to read.
Yeah.
Make sure it's 5-star reviews so it gets attention.
Right.
People won't think it's a good manifesto if it's like a 1-star review. So you got to go 5-star manifesto.
They'll think that someone rated your manifesto 1 star.
Yeah.
You got to make them think that they rated it 5 stars. This guy knows what's going on.
Or if you want us to talk about your manifesto, kick into the Patreon and we'll plug your manifesto.
We'll definitely mention it.
Yeah. Self-publish on Amazon, and then we'll promote your political manifesto.
Don't forget Audible. You got to get your manifesto on Audible.
But we promise we'll get to it eventually.
Don't worry, guys. Like Tyler said, we're going to be back. We're going to be dropping LSD, I guess. I mean, we got to get the authentic.
That's the only way we can do it.
Authentic experience. So, should make for an interesting episode. In the meantime, you can always find us on tadpog.com. That's where the show notes live. You can find us on Facebook. Why not? If you're on there looking at your ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends, you might as well just type in Tadpog at the top and that white bar, and then hit the like button. You might as well do it.
True.
There's a lot of cool people there doing a lot of cool shit, and that is a really good way to let us know how you feel about a particular episode, because Tyler will make a post about that episode, and then you can tell us how everyone signed your yearbook. Did they write "was arrow up"? Did they just draw a big gigantic dick, or did they draw tiny dicks?
Tiny dick.
You can find us on Twitter. We are at @tadpog_podcast. It's cumbersome, I realize. Thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody for retweeting us and tweeting at us. It legitimately makes my day when I see you guys talking about the show. So thank you. Tyler, you mentioned Patreon. If you want to kick us a few bucks, you can. We promise we will exclusively spend it on pizza and pizza parties, probably big things of Surge. We will squander every cent that you give us. You just go to patreon.com/tadpog. We appreciate that too. You can call us if you want.
Yeah.
If you want to, if you really want to. We love it when you call, because it gives us one episode a month where we can just joke around. Like we don't have to have to have this game pretense that we kind of dance around, where it's like, well, we'll talk about it a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Or if an episode we feel like that's supposed to go south, just play some calls. Play some calls and we'll see if we can bring it back.
Usually it works. So we need those calls.
It's episode defibrillator. We like those calls.
If you want to be heard on Tadpog, give us a call at 270-883-2555. Try to keep it under 3 minutes if possible. And we love questions. So if you can think of a good question for us relating to, let's say, empty nest. Let's branch out. Empty nest. Becker. You want to talk? Got a question about
Becker?
Becker?
Cast in a while.
We can do that. You just
Murphy Brown.
Yeah, Murphy Brown.
Night Court.
Oh man, you got some Night Court questions for us? Call us and let us know. We promise we will get to that eventually.
Josh, who does our theme song?
Would be Sycamore Drive.
Nicole, what's our theme song called?
Moves.
Now, both of you together, where can we find a link to that track?
In harmony, please.
Let's get ready. At tadpog.com.
In the show notes at tadpog.com.
She looked at you so disgustedly.
You're into this, Josh?
You plebe. It starts out. So you've already chosen how we're going to close out the show.
Yeah. Well, it's the voice that I'm going to speak in exclusively in the year 2020.
Okay. So until next time, Twabaco Capwacon.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty
good.
Our Barbara Walters is on fleek.
For real. Was that in 2006? Did you guys say for real? Yeah, I think that's one thing about living in Kentucky is like the majority of the population has probably at some point in their life run over a snake with a lawnmower. I feel like a lot of people have that story.
I have, on multiple occasions, chopped off a snake's head with a gardening hoe.
Really?
Yeah, because we had a garden.
On several occasions?
We had a garden growing up, and so
Was there a trial or was it the fucking snake
comes out with a hood and like this like oversized garden hoe that's like obviously sharpened for beheading.